Welcome to another episode of the Sunday Punch podcast. It's been probably close to a month.
More than
I
that.
don't. Has it been more than a month?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Well, we had a little bit of a lull before football season, and I was in Brazil. Monty went to his Euro trip, but we're back now. We got 2 weeks. I think it's better this way. We've marinated in the NFL. We have a little bit more of a grasp on who's good and who's not now, and we'll go ahead and react to it. So, without further ado, some things just never change. We're gonna go ahead and start it off with a little intro song called "Friday Night."
Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might fly away to someplace they don't know who we are. Now I'm riding shotgun in your car. We drive through the city like explorers going 65. Flowing hair flying across your face. We left on Friday, now it's Saturday. Pressed jeans buttoned up, jeans iron slipping up. Red shoes walking slow, headphones blaring 3 stacks. Sunglasses flaring out, thick watch hanging low. Studded belt pulled taut, 3 stacks on the radio. Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might run away to some place we can be who we are. We can be who we are.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to go through our biggest surprises of this NFL season. We're going to go through our biggest disappointments. And with that, first coach fired. We'll go with our biggest, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then we'll do MVP odds fantasy football, which I'm very interested in talking about. And then we'll do our week 3 preview with our click it to pick it, which is a guaranteed make a lot of money on Sunday bet or Monday or Thursday if you're feeling frisky with the Cleveland Browns Pittsburgh game. All right. Biggest surprise. You want me to go first? Do you guys want to? Who wants to go? Who wants to kick this off?
You go.
Okay, it's the Miami Dolphins. And I might be reacting to this just because I am a Baltimore Ravens fan, and that was one of the biggest collapses I've ever seen. I did the homework on it. A team going into the fourth quarter leading by 3 touchdowns was 711-0. That was the first time in 711 games where a team was up by 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter that they lost. And I just didn't think the Dolphins had it in them. Do you guys – okay, a few caveats here. The Ravens weren't covering anyone. Marcus Peters is coming off a major knee injury last year, and it showed. The Dolphins probably have the 2 fastest wide receivers. Definitely the fastest in Tyreek. Waddle looks really good. But I just didn't think Tua had it in him this year, and he has been proving me wrong. I believe he had over 500 yards, right? Passing.
Yeah. Or close to it, if not.
So they're my biggest surprise. I don't know if I believe in Tua yet because it is pretty easy to hit a guy who's running without a defender within 20 yards of him. But I really, after watching them play the Patriots in week 1, didn't feel very good about the Dolphins still. And but they surprised me. That's my biggest surprise for week 1 is the Miami Dolphins. And I think they could be a playoff team. I'm not going to lie. Doesn't have to, by the way, doesn't have to be a team, guys. Could be a player. Could be a coach.
Yeah,
Could be a mascot. Could be a team name. No, go ahead.
No, I said I was gonna say I don't even know if it's a surprise, but just a player dominating is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh, I would put that in my surprises.
Yeah, like because people knew he was good,
Mhm.
but he's just like taking off and going off, like getting double-digit receptions, putting up more than 100 yards, touchdowns, and that's what I was going to put as my surprise team so far with the Lions. I know they lost to the Eagles week 1, but they dropped 30-something points. And this past week, they dropped 30-something points again. Their defense might be an issue, but their offense with Swift, St. Brown, Hawkinson, Goff he's trash, but like you just give the ball to these players and they'll create something. So
He looks a little better.
yeah, but it's typical. Like you know what you're gonna get from Jared Goff. You're not.
Well, they have a really good O-line too.
Yeah.
Their O-line is top 3.
So I would say my biggest surprise is the Lions. I didn't think they would be this good, and then obviously St. Brown has been dominating.
So do you like the Lions versus the Vikings next week?
Yeah, they're underdog. I think they're like plus 200. I like.
Don't give away your click it to pick it now.
No, it's not my click it to pick it, but I mean I like the Lions. Yeah.
Okay, and Charles, biggest surprise?
You call me a homer, but Jalen Hurts has really surprised me this year.
But you're all in on the Jalen Hurts train even last year, so that you're surprised. I convinced you that he wasn't that good last year. Then
you didn't convince me that he wasn't that good, but at least Monday night, like his passing looks so much better than it did last year, which has been. I thought he was close to hitting his peak. I wanted them to see it play out, but like looking at the first 2 games, he's been. I mean, I was watching some of the highlights and just some of like the routes themselves, and he was making some tough throws over the middle, which he said he can't do. But and I know it's early, but I mean, if we're saying early surprises, he's lived up to the expectations they've put on him so far. So,
hey man, I'll eat crow on that because he's looked really good. I mean, we were at the Reveler. Misty there, Monty, but we were at a Philadelphia Eagles bar watching Jalen Hurts. Bet on the Eagles, by the way. Never wavered. Never thought the Vikings would cover that spread. Always was on the Eagles because I'm an expert gambler. But he's been working. I forget the guy's name, but his trainer in the offseason has worked with Tom Brady. He's worked with a lot of MLB pitchers, and you know what? A lot of those throws were very difficult. They're on the run. They're about 25 to 30 yards down the field, and he was just dropping dimes. I would say he's Monty. Now, I remember last year we were watching the playoff game versus Tampa, and you were saying it was over. He was trash. He was done. So how surprised are you by Jalen Hurts?
I mean, granted, it's 2 weeks. He's played really well. I'm going to need to see more of it before I make a decision, but I've always thought he has a noodle arm and he can't make some throws.
I don't know about that anymore.
I agree with you, Monty. I mean, it's super early, and we didn't. I mean, the Vikings beat the Packers, but that could just be that the Packers aren't as good as we thought they were. And our defense played a lot better, which helped. But he just looking at him these first 2 weeks, he looked a lot better than he did last week. If he can be consistent, well, that remains to be seen. But.
No, I mean, he's played well, and I'm hoping he succeeds. But there's a few plays where he'll step back, and then he has a pocket, but then he'll go look to run.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's like, bro, you're like, I understand running and it opens up a lot, but you're a quarterback. Like, even like if you look at other mobile quarterbacks like Lamar, Josh Allen, like they'll stay in the pocket and throw the ball. Jalen Hurts and he'll go. It's not even like the O-line.
Lamar is a very good quarterback. That is a good point.
No, I mean I like Lamar. I would take Lamar on the Eagles. Oh, you better give him his contract, or else he'll be on a new team by the end of next year.
They're talking about the Giants, but back to the Eagles. If you don't believe in Jalen, let me tell you the Eagles' schedule right here.
No,
they play the Commanders, then they play the Jaguars, the Cardinals, who are the worst team in the NFL, the Cowboys, Steelers, Mitch Trubisky Steelers without TJ Watt, the Texans, the Commanders, the Colts. Then they get their first test November 27th versus the Packers, who you just said might not be that good. Titans, who just got the brakes beat off of them. the Giants, the Bears, the Cowboys, the Saints, and the Giants. The Eagles may go undefeated this year in the regular season.
I think I saw some stat we're favored out of all of those games, but 2 of them. So, I mean, theoretically, we should do well and probably get a top 3 seed, but that's all dependent on if we play well. But, I mean, we have an easy schedule, so no complaints.
Yeah. Okay. So before we move on to biggest disappointments, I forgot to show this, but this is the progression of the Ravens as the utter destruction happened to them. Let's just watch this.
The new NFL record for the most 100-yard rushing games by a quarterback.
He ain't in shape. He ain't in shape. That was about 80, though. That was a long one. You're right. He's out of shape a little bit.
3rd down and 10 for Miami. Tua going deep down the seam. He's got Tyreek Hill wide open, and he makes the catch for a touchdown. Tyreek Hill got behind the secondary.
Guarded him a lot of years. It's still how crazy Tyreek Hill moves from point A to point B. I'm telling you, bro. The hardest people to guard are people that don't run like natural. No, people that run like this, you can't tell what. Right? He run with like a limp. And he's built like this. Like this thumb right here.
3rd down and 6. Biggest play of the game so far. Tua drops to throw, lobs it down the far sideline. Hill is wide open. He has it as a 20, and he will score easily. A 60-yard touchdown. Oh. Our score now all tied.
Run it back, win the game. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Forget what just happened.
Tua Tagovailoa under pressure, scrambles to his left, extends the play, and throws a touchdown to Jalen Waddle. And for the first time today, the Miami Dolphins have the lead.
We was up 21 points. How the freak did this just happen?
And this one is over. The Miami
Dolphins. I can't believe it. Oh my God. Humphreys, Marcus, I mean, whatever. Let's not dwell on it. They're definitely not my biggest disappointment. My biggest disappointment are, because I think the Ravens are going to get it back on track versus the Patriots this week. Mine are the big cats. Mine are the Bengals, obviously, 0-2, and lost to the Cowboys with Cooper Rush as the quarterback. Supposed to be a great offensive line in Cincinnati this year. So far, I don't know if this is like half Joe Burrow's fault for like holding on to it for too long, but don't look that good. And I don't know. It's not going to get any easier for the Bengals. Let's look up the Bengals schedule here. We got okay. They get the Jets, but the Jets just beat the Browns. Okay, the Jets are looking feisty. They got a good defense versus the O-line. Then they got the Dolphins and the Ravens back to back. So let's just put it this way. If the Bengals are 1-4, that's immediately panic mode. And then I guess the other big cat that I would be disappointed with, although expectations weren't that high, is I just thought the Panthers could have won too. Gambled on them twice. And that's adding that's adding to my disappointment.
It's a terrible decision.
The
you
Panthers
never bet on
like,
Baker Mayfield.
You know what? The Panthers are like heroin to me. Because I think I'm gonna bet on them again. They're playing the Saints. The Saints suck. The Saints have Jimmy Swinston at quarterback, who apparently, do you know that Jameis Winston has like fractured vertebrae? Yeah. And they're just like, oh, can't get injured any further? Like, what is that? What's that diagnosis? Hey, your back's fractured, but good news, you can't injure it any further. So get on out there. But I don't know. I think they should be 2-0. Everyone's on the Giants now. I just feel like the Panthers have a very good defense, and if Baker Mayfield was somewhat competent, they'd be 2-0. They should have beat the Browns too, in my opinion. 59-yard field goal to beat them. the betting is adding to my disappointment for the Panthers. I know no one else thought that the Panthers were going to be good, but I thought they were a sneaky playoff team. So that's my biggest disappointments this year so far. Monty, you want to continue in our same rotation?
One of them was the Bengals. I thought coming off their Super Bowl run, they would come into the season playing well and trying to prove themselves, and then it wasn't just a fluke. But I would say it's the Colts. You tie against the Texans, who the Texans are horrendous, and then you get blown out by the Jaguars.
Right.
And their whole thing was, let's bring in a good quarterback. We've had Phillip Rivers. We've had Carson Wentz. Those.
Let's get Matt Ryan.
Let's get Matt Ryan.
Solve the problems.
So I feel like they obviously their expectations were to make the playoffs. The AFC South, AFC South isn't too strong. The Titans are playing poor too, so maybe we have a chance of winning the division. But I don't know how they're this bad. Like, you should dominate the Texans, and it should be a cakewalk against the Jaguars. And yeah, it's the complete opposite, and not much is going well for them.
Jags, now the Colts are still favored to win that division, by the way.
Yeah, maybe they're just they're the more talented team, and they're just probably assuming they'll get it together, but something's gonna need to happen, because I don't know how you get blown out by the Jaguars. I don't think the Jaguars have ever blown out anyone.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So
it's
I'll go
a very
with the Colts.
long time. Yeah, well, I had a guy on this podcast that said, the Jags are just one player away from Super Bowl.
It's Christian Kirk.
Hey, he's been doing pretty good, dude. He's been
good.
doing pretty good. Charles, who's your? I agree. I mean, although to be biggest disappointment, did I think Matt Ryan was going to come in and be exponentially better than Carson Wentz? I mean, Matt Ryan, it's almost like it's the same problems. It's like he's got to get that interception out. He's like, let's get that out of the way, and now we can go ahead and play football. I don't know. I guess they didn't have Michael Pittman last week, and so maybe that's an excuse built in. But I don't know. If you need Michael Pittman every single week for your team to not get blown out by the Jags, then you are in some trouble.
Yeah.
Charles, biggest disappointment?
You guys both took one of mine each. It was the Bengals and the Colts. Same reasoning.
But I thought you were gonna go with Kyle Pitts.
I actually was gonna say that, but I didn't want you to go on the tangent of our recent situation that we'll get to later. But since you guys both said Colts and Bengals, I'll switch and say the Raiders. I think the Raiders have looked
a good one.
Pretty abysmal.
Well, they lost to the worst team in the league.
Get their big fancy new weapon, Devontae Adams. They got Chandler Jones, and they just still look like the Raiders, choking. And it's just like, it's got to be painful to be a Raiders fan, because it's not like they're just complete ass that like you have no expectations, but it's like every year you have somewhat of an expectation, and then they just can't do it. I thought they definitely could have won that game against the Chargers too.
Yeah.
And that last week's game was just
Is this an indictment on Josh McDaniels? I mean, he didn't make it in Denver as a head coach. Now he's 0-2. Is this the last stop for head coaching with Josh McDaniels?
It could be way too early to make a decision on that. I know,
Should we bring John Gruden back?
That's why I said texted my friends. I said Gruden would not have blown this game.
No, but I like Josh McDaniels. It's just like, how can you lose a 20-point lead? Was that what it was?
Up 20-0.
What I consider the worst team in the NFL, which is the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't know why you.
Why?
Their defense is horrendous. The defense is really bad.
No,
they don't Bears over them.
They can be bad, but they're not the worst. Like, you think they're a bottom 5 team in the league?
Yeah, I do. And by the way, you'll see my click it to pick it later.
I will say an honorable mention.
You're gonna lose to the Rams.
Yeah, I mean the Rams aren't that special. No, honorable mention.
That's what I'm saying though. The Rams are gonna beat their ass, and the Rams aren't that special.
the Broncos have also been somewhat.
That's true. That is true. I forgot about them.
underperforming. I felt like you bring in Russ and trade up everything to get him, yet you're only putting up like 15, 16 points a game, like not doing much.
Well, that
It's
leads
Russ
us
that's
into our
been
next.
pretty bad.
That leads us into our next topic. Actually, would you say that Hackett in Denver's on the hot seat already? 2 games in, Urban Meyer style.
He should be. He's like.
Fun fact on Nathaniel Hackett: the previous owners group that owned the Denver Broncos is the one that hired Hackett. Then they sold it to the new group, who has nothing to do with Hackett. So if there's ever been a one and done situation, this would be it. And he keeps going in these press conferences and voicing like, oh, yeah, I should have gone for it. I don't know what's going on. It's like, well, dude, you're the head coach.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, I'd be booing me too. It's like,
Right.
we'll get the play in so
Right.
that the crowd doesn't have to chant down from 5 seconds on.
No, yeah,
That should be on Russell Wilson too. I mean, you've been in the NFL long enough to know when the play clock is starting.
I mean, what was I think Richard Sherman tweeted like the chef emoji when they're like, "Let Russ cook," and like that was funny. Like maybe we've been overvaluing Russell Wilson.
Well, I've always
it's early. It's
always
early.
said he sucked.
You wanted
I've
him on the
already-
birds.
Yeah, like because I thought he was like good, but
Right now, who you taking? Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson.
neither. Give me Lamar Jackson. That's what I want.
That wasn't an option.
That's not the question.
No, I'd rather take C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young over those two.
It's like, hey, who you taking? Here's the question. Here's
Yeah,
two
I'll take
options.
Mahomes.
No, I'm going to ignore that, and I'll take Patrick Mahomes.
No, because I wouldn't take Hurts or Wilson for the future.
I'm very surprised that you're not on the Hurts train.
He's a hater.
I'm on the
No,
Hurts train.
I'm not. No, it's only been 2 games. Last year we beat bad teams and lost to good teams. I
Yeah,
want
we-
to see him as a quarterback. Like, yeah, I know he can run it, but
We
He's
beat
at
bad
300
teams running the
yards.
ball, though.
no, like, I need to see more because
What could he have done versus the Vikings to convince you even further?
well, I'm not going to be convinced after 1 game. So he like I didn't care what he did. He
I
could
mean,
have done like a
He
Steelers-
beat your lovely biggest surprise team, the Detroit Lions, in Week 1.
No, I know the Lions are average, but like beating the Lions is nothing special. Like I want to see him beat a
Okay.
good team. Anytime we play a good team, like a bona fide playoff team, we get clapped.
So you'd rather have
Well,
Russell Wilson.
wait till November 27th, then, bud, because that's when you first play your good team.
That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna be here in Week 9. Money's like, I'm waiting for that good team.
No, because I know the story. We'll make the playoffs and then we'll get clapped in the first round. I can already write out the story.
I disagree. If you get a high seed and you're playing like I don't know, pick a team that's going to make a wild card. I really like the Eagles. I like their defense. I love the
No, the
AJ
team-
Brown
yeah.
addition.
No, the team is nasty, and if we had a quarterback, we'd be like a top 3 Super Bowl contender. We just don't have a quarterback.
Nah, you're bugging. I'm not convinced, but you're going too far.
No, I said we'll make the playoffs with Jalen Hurts, but
Yeah,
I-
you're
like-
gonna be like 17-0 and be like, man, when we play a good team though.
no, like
We'll
you'll
have
see,
home
you'll
field.
see. We'll make the playoffs, and I bet week 1 of the playoffs, I will be favorites, but I'll for sure hammer the underdog because I know we're not gonna win that.
Okay, wait a second. We need to do a thought experiment right now. Eagles get number 1 seed. Okay. Now let me do the math here. Let me do the quick math. And you play. Well, I mean, let's say the Vikings make the wild card.
Vikings not making the playoffs.
Oh, I completely
Yeah.
disagree with you.
The Vikings are trying. You've seen Kirk Cousins play? That man
he also has
snaps
Jeff.
it and just throws the ball up in the air. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
hear me out, Monty. The only teams in the NFC that I seriously think could
Who are
come
you
in
scared of?
come into Philly and beat them in the playoffs would be Tampa, San Francisco, the Rams.
Not losing to Tampa. Not
Yeah.
losing to Tampa.
But we got clapped by them.
That was last year. They don't have an offensive line.
We don't have a quarterback.
All right, moving on. Okay, coming into Philly.
We're gonna win the Super Bowl, not lose a game.
No,
And he's gonna be like,
I know
not
that's
sold,
not-
not
no.
sold.
You're gonna
No,
tell
if we
me
had a
if like the
quarterback-
49ers come, you're gonna be like, oh, Jimmy G, we're losing.
No, I don't think we could play well against their defense. Like, I think
Oh, the Cardinals. They got that
you'll
little
see.
guy.
No, it's like, granted, our schedule is easy, but when we play good teams, that's where the question comes. Oh, is Jalen Hurts the quarterback of the future?
Wow,
the
I
question
can't
always
believe your
pops up.
hatred goes this deep for this guy.
No, I don't hate him.
will-
I just like I'm not sold. Like, give.
He
give
just
me
said
one,
that he was a
like-
burger once, and now he's fully committed to it.
Right.
No, like
it's like your dislike of Pusha T. It's irrational.
no. I said we're making the playoffs. Like I said, we're making the playoffs, but we're not going to go far. We'll make it, but we won't do anything there.
And everyone's always called Jalen Hurts the Pusha T of the NFL. All right, let's move on. I cannot wait until you guys are like 16-1, and you're like,
No, I'm
if
not
only we
said
had
our
Russell.
I'm not even
Wilson.
that optimistic, but
If we had
I
Russell
think-
Wilson.
No, you'll see when we get to the playoffs. You'll see. I'll just have to remember this.
We will. Okay,
we're
first
gonna
coach-
get our ass kicked, and your team that you root for is gonna get their ass kicked, and you're like, "I told you so."
No,
I told you the Cardinals would beat us.
no, because then we'll go in the offseason and then we'll go trade for a quarterback because I know Baltimore's not re-signing Lamar, so then Lamar will be on the Eagles, and then that is GG's for the rest of the league.
I would be okay with that.
That's what I'm saying.
I would. Be okay.
I'd be okay with the switch.
Take Jalen.
I'd like Jalen. Let's do straight up trade. I want Jalen Hurts now. I don't like that Lamar wants like $400 million. Okay. First coach fired. Who are you going with, dude? All right, let's go the same order. I got Matt Rule, just on the simple fact that he's been there a few years, and that they just released the power rankings of the NFL, and they have the Carolina Panthers as the 32nd. They have the Carolina Panthers when it should be the Arizona Cardinals, but they have the Carolina Panthers at 32nd overall. I mean, with that defense, how can you be the worst team overall? I just don't understand.
Yeah, it does.
You
I
have
mean,
Baker Mayfield as your quarterback.
yeah.
I know, but the Cardinals suck. And
Why
yeah,
is-
but they have a player like Kyler that can like win you a game, and he showed that.
and they have DeAndre
last week.
Hopkins.
oh yeah, once he's done doing anabolic steroids.
They got Hollywood.
oh
they have a
yeah, he
solid
dropped
team.
a touch. He's the drop machine.
Zach Ertz, J.J. Watt.
Well,
Yeah.
Dortch.
Yeah.
They got Dortch. I got him just because also I think they'd go in that room. And Matt Rule's like, look, I can go back to college. I'm not going to fault you if you fire me. I can get like $10 million a year if I go to, UCLA or something. But that's all. But I will say this. I do like Nathaniel Hackett, and I do like
You like him as a
Frank
coach?
Reich.
Yeah,
Frank Reich in
That was
Indy.
gonna be my pick.
I mean, just because of the simple fact that, okay, why do people get fired as head coaches? It's because the owner is going to some sort of dinner party and being embarrassed by his team. And who's more likely to irrationally react to this? Irsay, who got rid of Carson Wentz because he lost to the Jags after having COVID? Yes. And I don't care how nice of a guy Frank is in Indy. Matt Rule in Carolina, second richest owner in the league is the Carolina Panthers owner, Tepper. And it's like, you think that guy's going to be going to dinner parties and getting made fun of for being the 32nd ranked NFL team in the league? And again, Denver I like as a dark horse because they're going to go to these dinner parties and the guy's going to be like, we didn't even hire this guy. That was the last ownership group. And I don't know. Those are the three. And I would like to, let me look, while you guys discuss, they look up the odds on this.
Yeah, I mean, my pick was gonna be Reich, and you pose a question why the coaches get fired. I mean, one answer could be when you're underperforming to the expectations. They're supposed to be a double-digit win team, make the playoffs, and starting out 0-2, losing to two really bad teams. I know he won't get fired, but
I want to tell you mine first.
I got the odds. You want the odds or you want to
No, I want to tell mine
he
first.
said, he said he
Okay.
wants to say his. But I mean, I would go with Reich. because the Colts
Okay.
should be a lot better than what they actually
Because
are.
you can get some good odds on that right now, Monty.
Mine's Pete Carroll.
Interesting.
You think he gets fired or he like leaves?
I don't know how it's gonna go, but it's like I think they're gonna be like, all right, we need to reset. I don't think they're gonna win.
I think he gained another year by just beating Russell Wilson week 1.
I don't think so. I mean, they got embarrassed last week, first off, against their rival. But
Well, my dog Jimmy G came in, then they had some problems.
no, I just could see them. I mean, at some point. I mean, I guess one of these guys could get fired earlier just for being an idiot, but I could see them sometime soon just being like, this era's over. Russ is gone. We basically, I mean, that's what they do, and especially before they typically like to pair a new coach with a new quarterback. We know they're going to be probably drafting a quarterback next year, so I could see them. I mean,
Who you got as your number 1 guy, quarterback out of college, by the way? Is it Bryce?
Probably Bryce
I'll
Young.
go Bryce Young, yeah. Or CJ
Not
Stroud.
Anthony Richardson?
No.
Shoot, he's terrible.
For now.
He's so bad.
Just wait. I'm like a Bengals fan now. Just wait until we get going. All right, let me get the odds here. Matt Rule is plus 200, so he's the overwhelming favorite. Nathaniel Hackett has jumped in the last 2 weeks from like plus 1,200 to plus 500. First year. Frank Reich is plus 700, Monty.
I mean, I wouldn't throw because I don't think he is going to get fired, but
That's something wild to bet on. You gotta have a problem if you're betting on that.
Pete Carroll, by the way, plus 2,000.
I'm telling you, I can see it happening.
Charles, you want to put a unit down?
All my
That's 2,000 bucks.
Seahawks friends too are like, he needs to go. So.
Really? I mean, he's only 80 years old. He's got
Yeah, he is. That's another thing. He's also super old.
It's okay. He's still jumping around. He's a player's coach. He's like, yeah, I like rap music. All right, let's move on. Biggest. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Mine is Jimmy G being the starter again for the 49ers. I thought it was going to happen at week 6, no matter what happened to Trey Lance. For, as we know, my opinion on Trey Lance is that he cannot throw a football. Also, not good to be caught at a strip club after you lost the game to the Chicago Bears. Last quarterback to be caught at a strip club after a loss was Dwayne Haskins. All right.
No.
I don't mean anything bad by it, but he wasn't a good NFL quarterback, okay? Probably a great guy. Biggest, oh yeah, that makes sense moment for you, Monty.
The Browns being the Browns.
Well, they won week 1.
Yeah, but like their collapse, like, yeah, it's typical Cleveland's gonna be Cleveland.
The last time a team lost in that fashion, I forget what all the standards were, but I was listening to Sloan Newsday, which is a part of the Ringer network, was in 1994, I believe, and it was the Cleveland Browns. They broke their own record. It was like within a 3-minute period of being up by 2 touchdowns. So they keep stats on everything now. I love it. The Browns being the Browns. That's your biggest. Now, what if they win tomorrow versus the Pittsburgh Steelers? You have the Steelers winning tomorrow.
No, I mean they'll probably win. The Steelers are hopeless too. Like Mitch Trubisky, I don't think anyone good is on the Steelers. But it'll be the typical Browns. They'll win a couple games, think their season's going well, and then they'll just go downhill later on.
You don't believe in Deshaun in week 11?
No, I don't know. Like they'll probably be around 500 or so. They might make the playoffs, but I mean, Deshaun Watson as a player is good, but as a human, I don't even think he should be in the league. But that's the Browns.
You shouldn't be walking outside, bro.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
He
8,
needs to
9.
be on like
Behind bars.
Okay,
right?
so check this out. When he gets back, they play the Buccaneers. then the Texans, then the Bengals, then the Ravens, Saints, Commanders, and Steelers.
He'll win like 4 of those games.
Actually, wait a second. He might come back for the Texans game. I need to do the math again. But you don't think he could win all those games?
I don't think he'll win all of them, but he'll win. So if what is that, like 6 games? He'll go 4-2, or if it's 7, 5-2, or 4-3, and then they might make the playoffs. But for now, just the Browns being the Browns, they'll get their hopes up and then not even make the playoffs or do anything.
So if you're the commissioner of the NFL and you had full power and no legal ramifications, you would ban Deshaun Watson forever?
Forever, I don't know that, but he shouldn't be playing and making all that money doing the shit that he was doing.
Right. Okay.
He should be behind bars. Like, it shouldn't even be up to the commissioner. He should be like, it should be up to the district attorney. That's who it should be up to.
First of all, okay.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
No, he lies just like him. That's what he is.
Yeah. That was a convincing lie.
Right?
Okay, biggest. Oh, yeah, that makes sense to you, Charles.
The Titans sucking.
Yeah, I should have taken that one. God damn it!
I told you, dude. I told you. Derrick Henry.
He's washed.
Well, it's not only is he washed, but AJ Brown.
Wasn't he your surprise fantasy running back pick, Derrick Henry?
No, he was my bust. He was my bust. I remember Adam was like, "So you think he's gonna be falling outside the top 10 or whatever?" So far, he's averaging like 8 points.
He's trash.
I mean, obviously they played a good team Monday night, but they got embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, just showing how bad they are without AJ Brown and how much our offense has elevated, meaning the Eagles with AJ Brown. I didn't want to buy it until I saw it, but I figured that teams would just stack the box on them. I mean, they don't really have any Robert Woods and a rookie wide receiver. They're two best. I mean, I kind of feel bad for Tannehill, honestly. It's like, he's trash too, but it's like,
yeah, come on.
But it's like,
I feel bad for that guy. He's so good. Just doesn't get to show it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think it's like not super surprising they lost it. They should have beat the Giants. They really should have beat the Giants. But
Monty, you believe in the Giants?
No, they just have played 2 easy games. I don't. They have Daniel Jones.
Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, but Daniel, like, if I'm going into a game, I'm not scared of Daniel Jones. But going back to the Titans, yeah, it's crazy to see their fall off because they were like a top 2 seed last year or something like that. And
lost me a lot of money in the playoffs.
Yeah, the Bengals have beat them, and it's crazy. You just lose a wide receiver. I don't know what happened to their defense, if they lost anyone or stuff like that, but it's wild to see their fall off.
Yeah. What week does Malik come in?
He came in this week.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
When does he start?
Maybe mid-season if it keeps on going bad like this. Like, if they just really go bad, then like week 8 or 9. If they're 2-5, they'd start Tannehill. I'd say like the latter third of the season, maybe if they already know it's GG's and they don't have a chance.
Okay. Before we move on to the NFL MVP odds, I just want to go over the call of the week in the NFL.
Cole getting the start at center. Shelton's clearing out defenders faster than a teenager clears his search history on his web browser. Holy smokes. Shelton's all over the place.
Why is the teenager clearing his search history?
I didn't really get it. I just thought it was funny.
Okay.
Like, Mark Sanchez definitely wrote that and thought it was funny, and then it was like, it would be a great idea? Let's say this on national television. Although I do wish he just said on live TV. Why would he clear his browser history? And he just said pornography. And then they moved on to the next play. And they never talked about it again. Okay, MVP odds. My favorite here, just based off of the value, and you're gonna hate this, Monty,
It's
because you
gonna be
hate
Jalen.
your
No,
own
no,
team.
and it's a valid pick. Just because
Jalen
we have
Hurts
an
is
easy.
plus 800 right now, and has the easiest schedule of all time.
No, here I'm gonna give you a comparison for Jalen Hurts, and you might think it's wild. The year that Cam Newton won the MVP, everyone he was doing something different. He was throwing it, he was running it. The Panthers, I think, went 15-1.
Mm-hmm.
They made a little run, but obviously the MVP is the regular season. And then 2-3 years later, people were like, "Oh yeah, he's not a quarterback," and now he's out
the problem with your comparison is that Cam Newton got very injured.
What is stopping?
He could not throw the ball anymore.
But what's that? Jalen Hurts can't throw to begin with.
Well, I don't want to bank on injuries.
Well,
I'm like
as
Lamar
a pure
could get
passer,
injured. Tom Brady could get injured.
Yeah, but Lamar is a good passer. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. Like, as a pure passer, if you take away Jalen Hurts' legs, bro, he wouldn't be in the league. Like,
I love how this podcast has evolved into Lamar Jackson is a fantastic quarterback.
No, I like Lamar Jackson. He's talented.
Dude, no, there's no complaints on my end. Josh Allen is obviously the favorite, plus 300. But wouldn't you rather get the plus 800 odds?
No, because I think the Bills are going to be – I mean, it's good odds, plus 800, but I think the Bills – you've seen their first two games. They clapped the Rams and they clapped the Titans.
But I could see one game, maybe two games where, like, let's say Bill Belichick figures it out one game for the Patriots defense, right? And Josh Allen has like a last year Jaguars game where they score 12 points. I just don't think anyone in the Philly schedule can stop Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at the rest of our schedule, but
Patrick Mahomes is plus 450. You don't think the Broncos are going to have one game versus him where they're like, oh, they figured out, they've been playing them for years and years and years, and it's like they got a great defense. There's nobody in the division other than Dallas, but I just think the short field that's going to be created with the Dallas situation is just going to, even if Dallas is a great defense, Jalen Hurts is still going to have 3 touchdowns somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good value. It's good value at plus 800, but I just think Josh Allen.
I would take Jalen Hurts' odds over Mahomes, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Bills don't lose a game this year too. He's gonna, even if they do lose, he's gonna be putting up numbers.
Crazy, no, it'll be a shootout. Like
yeah.
Now, what about because they jumped because of the rib cartilage thing? What about getting plus 900 odds on Justin Herbert?
No,
I just don't see him winning enough games in that division.
Yeah, and he'll be behind Mahomes, like, because the Chargers will never get over that bump of beating the Chiefs. So when they're always looking at it, how are you going to give the MVP to some guy who can't even beat Patrick Mahomes?
All right, well, let's bring him back up again. You love him. He's the best quarterback in the league. Lamar Jackson, plus 1,200.
Yeah, but his team, you saw them collapse. That's not Lamar's fault. Lamar dropped 40, 30-something on him. That's
we keep talking about wins, but couldn't you win the MVP even if you just make the playoffs and you don't have like a dominant, like, let's say Josh Allen doesn't lose a game, but Lamar Jackson has better numbers.
No, they would.
If
the team goes undefeated, they're giving it to the best player on that team.
Okay.
Or if they're the 1 seed,
well, then it's Jalen Hurts. Okay, because the schedule dictates that the Philadelphia Eagles will win a minimum of 16 games this season.
No, I mean, that's why I said it's good value, but I just think the Bills, like, there's a reason why Josh Allen's.
Sorry, bye week. Forgot the bye week.
There's a reason why Vegas already thinks he's going to win and why his odds are at that value.
Okay, got it. Any interest in Tua at 1,800?
No.
If he was right-handed.
Yeah, hey, Charlie showed me a video of him throwing it like they flipped it, and it actually looks pretty good. And then when he's left-handed, it looks like he's Philip Rivers. All right, well, I think we all agree then that the best odds, though, are Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I might have to bet it. I might have to put a unit on it. So, let's get into, since he is on my fantasy team, Jalen Hurts. He is on Charlie's fantasy team, Jalen Hurts.
Different leagues.
Different leagues, but mine is my main league and Charlie's is his main league. Let's get into fantasy football. I did not get to draft my team. Monty, do you know my team?
Like very vaguely. I heard it went really bad.
It did. Let me break down. I don't think he'll ever make it to this minute mark. He's a little older of a man. He's 40 minutes in, he gives up. I'm going to my league right now. My main league, which is a large entrance fee, I could make it. I was in Brazil for a wedding. As punishment, someone had to go as my proxy to draft. And that proxy was the former commissioner's dad, who I am good friends with. We had 5 mock drafts together. I told him many times who I wanted to target. I ranked 200 players, then gave it to him. Here's my team. QB, Jalen Hurts. No problem. But let's preface this. I said, take a lot of running backs. That's what I said. I said, I want a lot of running backs, by the way. I then said, I had the 10th pick going in the snake, right? So I kept Austin Eckler at 10. I said, I really want to target either Josh Allen and reach for Josh Allen. Or here's my list, and I had Devontae Adams and I had Stephon Diggs ranked as the top receivers. I also had Aaron Jones. I had a bunch of running backs ranked higher. Second pick, CeeDee Lamb. Didn't talk about CeeDee Lamb. Didn't mention CeeDee Lamb. Didn't indicate that I liked the Dallas Cowboys. Didn't say I liked CeeDee Lamb at Oklahoma. Never said CeeDee Lamb's name. Number 2 pick. All right, now let's just go through the rest of the roster. Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, Drake London, Austin Eckler. Second running back in the 7th round was taken, Elijah Mitchell, immediately injured. So now I had to pick up Jeff Wilson. I now have Tyler Higbee and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And with my bench being Damian Harris, TJ Hawkinson, Renfro, Brady. I picked up Herbert. And I have Suck Up in Green Bay. I don't hate it. I won last week. I'm 1-1. For a guy who never watches football, I don't hate it. I'm just perplexed by the CeeDee Lamb pick at number 2.
4 wins.
You think I only get 4 wins? That's insane. No, I think I make the playoffs.
No.
And I hope Elijah Mitchell comes back.
No, the team, like you said, the team isn't like, it's not bad, but it's not good. Like, obviously, if you nailed that first pick, that CD one, it could look a lot different. Like if you get a Diggs or a Devontae Adams or a Tyreek
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, or another big running back or something like that.
Aaron Jones. I told him Aaron Jones a million times. I can't. So then I text him. I'm in Brazil. I get this. I'm like, what's up with CD? And he says, oh, Joe Mixon wasn't available. Didn't talk about Joe Mixon. Didn't mention Joe Mixon. Didn't say I like Joe Mixon. I'm texting my league. I'm like, your dad needs to get tested for like Alzheimer's. Like, I didn't say CD. I didn't say Joe Mixon. He has a list of people in the correct rankings. But anyways, that's my team there. I want you to react. Me and Charlie made a big trade. I'm 0-2 in our league.
after multiple times saying, "Oh, I'm in a way bigger, way more important league. I'm going to easily win your league."
Yeah. Okay.
Last
well, I
place.
can preface it. I would like to preface it. I came to their draft completely drunk. I had no clue what was happening. I had a laptop. The names were blurred. I didn't know what was going on.
That's a straight lie. He was sitting there making fun of other people's picks, saying, "I have the best team in the league."
I still think I do, by the way. I think I'm coming back. I still
Right
like
after
my
the trade
team.
we just made.
No, okay, so here's the trade me and Charles just made. I fleeced him. I bought low. He had Kyle Pitts and Tony Pollard, who, if you watch the Dallas Bengals game, is clearly going to take over as the number one running back in Dallas, especially after Fat Zeke gets injured. And I got Kyle Pitts, who's going to take off. And I got Tony Pollard for Big Fat Lenny and Pat Freiermuth with Mitch Trubisky thrown to him. Give me my round of applause. Let's go. Monty, since you're the neutral third party, what do you think of that one?
I don't think it's a robbery, like you said. I do want to preface, though, he could have had Mark Andrews for Leonard Fournette, but he thought
straight up
Leonard Fournette was more valuable, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
But obviously the best player in that trade is Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
And that's why it makes sense that Charlie he sold low on Pitts.
Right.
But to get the better player, he packaged another solid good player. And I've always said for the long time, I think Tony Pollard's taking over the starting position by mid-year. But looking at Charlie's team, he wasn't going to really play Tony
I wasn't going to play him.
Yeah, so, I mean, it worked well for both of you guys. You really needed a tight end, so you got your tight end. He really needed, like, another starting player. So he got a starting running back. He has Aaron Jones and Leonard Fournette. So I don't think it's a robbery on both ends. I just think you guys both sold low at the same time. But, I mean, it worked. Like, it's
let's review this trade in about 7 weeks.
Yeah. So it's way too early to tell because it's two players that are –
Did you
I
see
thought it was
Arthur?
fair. I think
it
no, it is fair,
obviously being facetious. I think it is a very fair trade. Big Fat Lenny got 25 carries. He's already come out and said touchdowns are coming.
The way I
go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say the way I looked at it with Pollard, it's like by the time Pollard takes over that backfield, Breece Hall is gonna take over the Jets' backfield too.
That's very true.
So
I just think Pollard, it doesn't really matter if he takes over. I think they're gonna get him they're gonna figure a way because he's a weapon to get him the ball. Yeah. And if that's 50% of the time, I'll take it.
Yeah. No, I mean I like Pollard a lot, and I think if they weren't paying Zeke like whatever he's getting paid, it would be an easy decision. All right, let's put this guy in. But I think it's part of their pride. It's like we drafted this guy in the first round. We gave him all this money, and now we're just going to throw him to the side, which, I mean, they might get rid of him at the end of next year. But Jerry Jones, his ego is very big, and his pride, he probably doesn't want to make it like, oh, I messed up by giving him this fat contract.
Speaking of throwing to the side, I don't know. I'm hoping, I'm praying to the gods that the Kyle Pitts thing is just some sort of like outlier, like what the fuck just happened in our first 2 weeks. Did you see what Arthur Smith even said about using Kyle Pitts?
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
But here's Field Yates on Kyle Pitts.
You have to play him, and what you need to do is you need to go to bed on Saturday night. You need to say a small prayer if you're a person of faith that Kyle Pitts gets more than 19 yards in a game. 2 catches, 19 yards in week 1. 2 catches, 19 yards in week 2. Like, we're talking about a player who had over 1,000 receiving yards as a rookie last year. I have the Field Pass column coming out, and we are going to dive into the Kyle Pitts dilemma right now. But as I stated in that column, Kyle Pitts does not check every box for a tight end because there are so many boxes that he checks that even the most optimistic tight end evaluator would never imagine that somebody at 6'6" could be as gifted athletically as Kyle Pitts is. This is literally unfathomable what they have done through 2 games. It needs to change. I am never going to be the person that thinks I am anywhere as close to as smart as these offensive coaches are. So I'm simply asking that we get more of Kyle Pitts. Whatever that takes. I don't care if that means putting him at quarterback. I'd let him throw a couple passes if that's what it takes. Please.
I agree, dude. And it's good to have a Gator on my team. I'll tell you that much. All right, let's get into the week 3 preview. Let's talk about best game and then our click it to pick it, and we'll end it here. Okay. So let me get to my NFL betting odds here. Click it to pick it. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams -3.5 versus the worst team in the league, the Arizona Cardinals. Doesn't matter that it's in Arizona. The Rams getting 3.5, the Cardinals getting 3.5 is just based off of them almost losing to the Falcons and them beating the Raiders. The Cardinals are so bad. I think this might be like a 15-point game. So I'm going to go with the Rams as the click it to pick it. Bet your entire life savings on this game. If you have any more cryptocurrency, bet it on this game. The Arizona Cardinals have 0 shot of beating the LA Rams. Best game of the week. I'm going to go with, obviously, I'm just making sure that it's still being played. Yes. Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are playing Tampa Bay, right?
No, they play the Colts.
No, yeah. No. I'm talking about the Packers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't find it on my list. That's the best game of the week. Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. What more do you want? We got Tom Brady, who's like, is he good still? I don't know. And then you got the Packers who just beat the Bears. And I'm very interested to see how this game plays out, plus 2 of the best legends in the league.
I mean, my game of the week would be.
Are you as confident, by the way? Are you?
I'm giving you Bills Dolphins. You can go ahead and you can say it if that's what you think it is.
No. Are you as confident on the Rams as I am?
No.
Oh my God.
I would
wait to rub this in your face next week.
I would pick them, but I also don't think that the Cardinals are the worst team in the league.
Okay, moving on.
And it's a divisional game. You don't click it to pick it on a divisional game.
Oh, I click it. I clicked it and I picked it.
Oh, my click it to pick it's a divisional game. I'm going with the Lions. I'm taking them plus 200 over the Vikings. The fact that it's plus 200, even 5.5.
No, we talked the spread. You got them. Oh yeah, you got.
I got
money line.
Yeah, like plus 200 that's great value. The Vikings suck. And coming off a short week too.
The Vikings do not suck.
No, did you see Kirk Cousins? Like
your hatred of the Eagles is hilarious, by the way.
No, did you see Kirk Cousins?
You love the Eagles, yet you hate them at the exact same time.
Did you see Kirk Cousins? He doesn't know what he's doing back there.
It was a prime time Cousin Kirk game. He's back. He's back to regular programming. I think they come back.
I still like the Lions. I think
they're
playing well. It might just be like an early season like rush that they have that they're just putting up. They put up 30 plus in back-to-back games. I don't think the Vikings really play defense, so they might drop 30 again.
Okay, you're going money line. Click it to pick it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. All right, you can get some nice cashish with that one. Plus 205.
And then game of the week, it's the Dolphins and Bills.
Okay, I like that one.
Yeah,
I just like 2 legends.
Yeah, but the Packers look bad. Like, I think they're.
I almost picked them as my that's right pick of the week because it's like, oh yeah, they're back and they're good.
I wouldn't say they're good. They don't really have anyone on offense other than Rodgers and Aaron Jones.
Well, they have the Lizard King.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
All right, Charles, give us your game of the week and then end this with your clicky.
I'm gonna go Niners.
Bills.
Niners Broncos. I think could end up being a pretty good game.
Okay.
Prime time West Coast. 2 teams. Kind of unknown. No, could be good. Click it to pick it. I'm gonna Chiefs minus 5.5.
Who do you got in that game, by the way? It's not your click it to pick it, but you got the Broncos and Niners.
I got the Niners in that game, but
Me too.
um,
Niners minus 1.5.
yeah,
That seems like
Where's
it's too easy.
is the game in San Francisco?
it's in Denver.
It's in Denver.
Yeah, I would take the Niners. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Colts Chiefs minus 5.5. I think that's pretty low for how bad the Colts look.
That is pretty low.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. The Chiefs, like, same year going
That's
to
true.
dominate.
Yeah. Same with the Bills too. It's like, well, honestly, the surprise. I was thinking about saying the Bills for my surprise. I'm like, I knew they were going to be good, but I didn't know they were going to look like this good. Like, they look like they could go undefeated. But
Damn, I can't believe the Chiefs are only favored by 5.5.
Right?
you're going to throw on it now.
That's an insane line. That should be at least 7.
I
It'll
agree.
probably change by Sunday. Probably go up a point or two.
If the Cardinals didn't suck so bad, I might change it when I click it to pick it.
What are you gonna do if the Cardinals win? Is your whole opinion on them gonna change?
Well, the Cardinals will not win that game, but I don't know. What do you want me? What are we putting on the line here? You want to bet that? You love the Cardinals so much.
We should go out and
I
watch
don't-
that game.
I like the Rams. I think the Rams are a good team. The Rams are gonna win, but I'm not underestimating the Cardinals.
You want to put it?
I'm not
Charles
throwing
loves the
anybody
Cardinals.
I
Come on,
just
Charles.
don't
You want to bet? You want to bet a unit on that?
I just don't think they're the worst team in the league. No, I'm not betting on that game. I don't bet on divisional games.
All right. Speaking of divisional games,
Actually,
tomorrow
I don't bet in general. I don't bet at all.
I never bet. I haven't bet once. Never once. All right. Let's end this on an oldie but a goodie. Tomorrow night, the Browns play the Pittsburgh Steelers. And how many catches is David Njoku going to have? It's Njoku time on the Sunday Punch podcast.
Muhammad Wilkerson, David Njoku's third touchdown catch of the season. That's a beauty.
Now, just for clarification, David Njoku, he had... Let me go to his stats here. Charles, you had it up. He had
One
versus
catch
the
for 7
Jets
yards for week 1.
in week 1. In week 1, he had 1 catch for 7 yards. In week 2 versus the Jets, he had 3 catches for 32 yards. How many catches does David Njoku have versus the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I say he goes 2 catches for 18 yards. That's what he's going with.
Well, put it for 19. Give him a Kyle Pitts stat line at least.
All right, yeah, I'll give him the 2 for 19.
Okay. Charles.
I'm going to go 2 for 25 and a touchdown.
Oh,
you got a touchdown. No.
Because
yeah.
we will be at Old Crow. I can sense it.
With a flag on that bitch. All right, I'm going. All right, he has had 2 stinkers.
He's due.
I'm going for 5 for 65 and a touchdown. David Njoku breaks out this week.
That's a career high.
Yeah. I'm going with it. All right, I think this is a solid cast. It's good to be back. It's good to get back in the lab. As we all know, it is Wednesday night. But always it's Friday night on the Sunday Punch podcast.
Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might fly away to someplace they don't know who we are. Now I'm riding shotgun in your car. We drive through the city like explorers going 65. flowing hair flying across your face. We left on Friday, now it's Saturday. Pressed jeans buttoned up, jeans iron slipping up, red shoes walking slow, headphones blaring 3 stacks, sunglasses flaring out, thick watch hanging low, studded belt pulled taut, 3 stacks on the radio. Friday night, I'm thinking that we just might run away to some place we can be who we are. We can be who we are.